Hello everyone, hope y'all are having a good day. It is July 28th, and today I'm back with our video. So today, the main focus of the video is going to be the moderate risk that we have in Wisconsin. Looks like we're going to have a pretty significant day for severe weather, maybe even a severe weather outbreak. So it's going to be the main focus of today's video, and then at the end of the video, I will talk about the tropics briefly. There's not a lot going on at the tropics, so that's good. But we will talk about them. Um, so as you can see, we have a moderate risk for severe weather from the SPC for pretty much a good amount of central Wisconsin, not even in the southeastern Wisconsin. Uh, we have a 10 tour that extends from Minnesota into southeastern Wisconsin. 45 sig wind. So we have a moderate risk for wind. We have an enhanced risk for hail, 30 sig. Then we have a 10 tour. 10 tour, that's kind of, a 10 tour is not too significant. It's not sig either, so that's kind of good. But I do think we're going to have a tour threat today. I don't think I don't think we're going to see a tornado outbreak. But I do think we have a good chance of seeing a severe weather outbreak with maybe several tornadoes and a lot of damaging wind, and even some hail. Then as we go into day 2, this is tomorrow. This is Thursday. We have a slight risk that goes from areas of east central Indiana into areas of central New Jersey. Let me get Epic Pen here. And 5 tour for areas of Ohio, PA, West Virginia, Maryland. And then Epic Pen's almost here. Sorry about this. Okay, there we go. And then we can see we have a. I'm not doing that. All right, but then we can see we have a 15% wind risk. So slight risk for wind. That's it. We don't have a slight risk for hail, or we do have a slight risk for tornadoes as well. 5 tour. So tomorrow is going to be an interesting day to watch as well. We'll talk about that briefly. And then on day 3, we can kind of see the pattern we're going into. We're going to kind of have the jet stream kind of look similar to this. So it's going to kind of or it's going to bring the severe weather risk, really aim it for this area of the country, from maybe the plains, the Midwest down into the kind of the Mid-Atlantic states. Then areas of the Northeast could get affected, the Great Lakes. And then and also we're gonna have a little bit of a couple day heat, or kind of a short heat wave in the south, the deep south, and the southeast. Nothing significant. It's pretty normal for July. Some triple digit temperatures could be expected for areas of Georgia, South Carolina. But I mean that's not really rare. That happens pretty commonly. But so it's not really a heat wave. It's just some hotter temps. So let's go ahead and start looking at models for today. So this is the HRRR, the latest around the 12Z. It's still coming out. And we can see this is just forecasted reflectivity. By this afternoon, 23Z, this is 6 p.m. We have a good bit of storms up to the north of Minneapolis, kind of in northern Wisconsin, into the arrowhead of Minnesota. Even maybe in UP, Michigan, some storms going on. And at this time, we do have, let's take a look at ML Cape. We got plenty of Cape, especially over in Minnesota, where we have areas of 2 to 3,000. Now, the HRRR does indicate some capping going on in this region right here. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But let's go back to simulated reflectivity and just see what the HRRR has. So it has one what looks to be kind of a dominant storm there. This is at 8 p.m. right to the east of Minneapolis in Wisconsin. We have what looks to be a very strong storm now. The placement of this storm, and even if the storm happens, it's not likely. It's not likely we're gonna have this actually happen. This is just simulated reflectivity. So the chances of this happening exactly like this model shows, it's very low. But it kind of gives us an idea of what we could be seeing. Could be seeing also some lines of storms, and definitely a damaging wind risk with this. We're gonna take some soundings on pivotal in a couple minutes, and then we can see this is after dark here. We have a damaging line of storms, or just some damaging storms moving down into central Wisconsin, approaching the Madison and Milwaukee area, and then they go into Lake Michigan. Milwaukee could get hit pretty hard if the HRRR happens. It's definitely damaging wind. Then it even moves into Michigan. This is getting into tomorrow morning now. This is around 4 a.m. On Thursday morning. We still have strong storms leaving the Wisconsin area, maybe scraping the extreme northeastern tip of Illinois. Maybe scraping the northeastern tip of Illinois. And then now they're moving into across Lake Michigan, and they moved into Michigan, western Michigan, and are affecting southwest Michigan. And then we can see they kind of die out as we move. This is 5 a.m. now, Thursday morning. We're at 2 hours. Maybe some gusty winds coming into areas like Detroit, Toledo. Maybe even some damaging winds for areas like Toledo, into maybe Fort Wayne, Indiana. And so yeah, and then this line is starting to weaken though, so the threat of damaging winds will be going down, but it's still there. We can see the SPC does have a slight risk down all the way into that region, not even a marginal risk all the way into PA, even the Mid-Atlantic states like North Carolina. You can see this line, and then now this is the next day. This is Thursday where we have that slight risk. We can kind of see maybe some storms down in PA, New Jersey, still with the same storm system. So now let's go over to pivotal here. Let's take a few soundings. So let's get the HRRR here. Yeah, we're gonna use the 12Z. And now let's zoom into the Midwest. And then we're gonna take a few soundings, see what kind of environment we have, and kind of look at our tornado potential. So this is at 7 p.m. today. We can see that dominant storm to the east of Minneapolis. Looks like we have some kind of surface low. A surface low about right here. So maybe that surface low could affect that. If this dominant storm, or not really dominant storm, but if this storm does happen, we looked at that on simulated reflectivity before. But if this storm does happen, maybe this low could affect that. Now, let's take a sounding kind of right to the south of it. That's the direction it's moving. Now, this does look quite interesting. We do have capping going on. We're going to have to see how that capping plays into this severe weather risk. Because HRRR does indicate a good bit of capping. Now, you can see we have plenty of instability. We have 3,000 cape, so that's plenty. Lapse rates are decently steep. LCL heights are pretty moderate. Then we look at the shear profiles. We do have decent speed shear, and we do have good directional shear as well. We can look at the Hodo up here. Hodo definitely looks supportive of tornadoes. So I would say if we can get a supercell to break the cap in this area, we will definitely have a tornado risk, especially with this Hodo. That kind of worries me a bit. Critical angle is 99. That's good. So yeah, overall, that's actually pretty good sounding right there. Kind of better than I thought we would get. Now let's go ahead 2 more hours. This is now after dark. This is 9 p.m. We can see we have our surface low. We're moving into Wisconsin now. So maybe that surface low could influence the storms. Maybe give them kind of. You see that a lot sometimes. Maybe I don't really think it's going to influence. I mean, yeah, it's probably going to influence the storms a good bit. So maybe that will influence the storms and give us a little bit more of a tornado potential. But either way, I do think we have a tornado threat today. I don't think we're going to see a tornado outbreak, maybe. I don't think we're going to see a tornado outbreak today, but I think it's pretty unlikely. But definitely, I think we're going to see a severe weather outbreak with all modes. Hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes. Now, another interesting area looks to be about right here. Looks like we have maybe some kind of front setting up right here. We have kind of a broken line up to the north of that. Let's try and take a sounding right along this front. And this is not as good. That's kind of contaminated. So let me try and get a new one here. All right, this one's a bit better, but I mean, still, the sounding does not look great. It's very capped. Overall, that's not a great sounding. I definitely say, though, if we can get... I mean, these storms up here will pose a severe weather risk. Definitely some damaging winds. Tornado not out of the... Tornado or two with this area of storms up here. Not out of the question. But I'd say if we can get we get storms to go off to the south of the low, where we have more instability, less capping, like the HRRR indicates, I definitely say they're going to have a tornado risk, or greater tornado threat. So let's take a sounding once again to the south of that cell, and still shear is good. It is a capped environment, that is contaminated. So let me try and get a new one here. Let's take one right here. I mean, definitely not terrible, but that was still once again capped. But I'd say the area we're going to want to watch for tornadoes, I'm thinking, is going to be this area right here. Maybe even in the further to the northwest. So let's go ahead a few hours. Let's go to 5Z. We're getting into, this is around midnight. We can see we have a line of storms diving south towards the Milwaukee area. Take a sounding in south central Wisconsin. I mean, not that impressive. Damaging winds will be the main threat of that. Try and take a sounding here. I think this is going to be contaminated. Yeah, it's contaminated. But this line will likely pose a damaging wind threat and maybe a little bit of a torr threat. Still, that kind of worries me because this is overnight now. This is midnight. The middle of the night, people will be sleeping. So, hopefully, we won't see anything happen. Hopefully. Now let's go ahead. Let's go ahead 3 more hours. This is 8C. This is around 3 a.m. You can see the line diving south and maybe even scraping extreme northeastern Illinois into southeastern Wisconsin. And now it's starting to move into areas of Michigan as well. And let's try and get a sounding. I don't think we're going to get any good ones. Kind of, that's contaminated. That is contaminated. So let's try and take one, maybe. Take one in northwestern Ohio. It's kind of far out, but gotta give us an idea. So shear isn't that great. Definitely not really supportive of tornadoes. But keep in mind though, this isn't really. This is kind of far out. Instability is limited. Environment is capped. I don't think we're gonna see any. I don't think overnight towards like 3 a.m. I don't think we're gonna see too much news storms go off. But I definitely think we're gonna see the original line from Thursday or from Wednesday evening tonight or this evening, kind of make its way down into Michigan. There's still gusty winds, a little bit of a tornado threat as well, even some hail. And then we can see as this line moves into Ohio, it weakens, but still a damaging wind threat as well. With that, so now let's talk about. Let's go ahead and move to the Mid-Atlantic and talk about day 2. Day 2 is Thursday. Because we have that slight risk, 5 torr. So let's see what the HRRR. So the HRRR has some storms kind of strengthening, moving into Philadelphia. Let's take a sounding with those real quick. And, I mean, not too impressive. We have, I mean, decent shear. That's 2 torr right there. Okay, instability is good. Environment's not capped overall. This is a pretty good sounding. Probably not good, but this is okay for severe weather. Probably this is a slight risk right here. And we can see the storm moves into New Jersey. Now, like once again, it's not going to happen like the HRRR is showing. It's going to be a different scenario, of course, but it can kind of give us an idea of what we could be seeing. We can take a sounding take one in southwestern PA real quick. Not expecting anything too good. Lapse rates are kind of steep, especially at the surface. Surface lapses are steep. Shear is not that good. Maybe maybe a 2% torr. Torr threat doesn't look too significant. Instability is also kind of limited. Damaging wind threat will be the main threat. Maybe some hail as well. Maybe some smaller hail. So that is Thursday, and next thing I want to do is we're gonna kind of move away from severe weather for now. We're gonna move away from severe weather and we're going to talk about the heat. So let's move out to the continental U.S. and go to we're going to take a look at temperatures. This is the Euro model. So this is at 18Z today. This is this afternoon. I mean, nothing too impressive. This is kind of just normal summertime pattern. Now we do have some pretty above that. We have some above average temperatures in areas of the plains, northern plains, and just some normal heat across the Midwest, the Southeast. Nothing abnormal really. We can see widespread 90s, even maybe some areas in South Dakota reaching 100. And this a lot of 90s, 80s. Nothing really too significant. But as we go into Thursday, you can see it's really going to start to heat up across areas of the southern plains, the south, the southeast. We can see some temperatures in the upper 90s to around 100 in some areas. And I mean, this is not really a heat wave. I wouldn't call it that. I mean, in some areas it could be classified as a heat wave, but this isn't really record-setting heat. This, I mean, for example, like 100 degrees in South Georgia, that's hot, or in southern South Carolina, that's hot, but it's not really record-setting. I mean, that's kind of normal. As we see, Friday looks to be the hottest day across the South and the Southeast, as the heat kind of gets pushed south. We can see we have some temperatures maybe up to around 100 from areas like Macon, Georgia, into Augusta, maybe Montgomery, Alabama, Columbia, South Carolina as well. Maybe some of those areas trying to hit 100. I wouldn't be surprised if they do. Definitely, if it's gonna be pretty hot. It's gonna feel hot though. Take a look at dews real quick. And it's gonna be pretty moist. Now, surprisingly though, or not really surprisingly, but it's actually gonna be drier than there has been in the past couple of days in the southeast. Dews in the 60s to around 70. It's still gonna feel the heat index will still be there, but it's not gonna be as bad as it could be. So that's good. So we can see the GFS for Friday. That's wrong model. Sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. GFS for Friday shows get the latest run here. GFS Friday afternoon is dews in the 60s, maybe even some upper 50s across Central Georgia. Now I do think that could be. I don't think that's gonna happen. Kind of think the Euro solution's a little better. But we'll have to see. We can see though on the GFS Friday afternoon, looks very hot, especially across areas of Kansas, Nebraska. We have a surface low in Colorado, kind of a front that looks to be like this. Front here. That's going to kind of help to bring more heat from areas of Texas up into the Central Plains. That surface low. So we're going to see some very hot temperatures in Kansas on Friday. But once again, it's not really a record setting. It's going to be hot, of course, but it's not really a record setting. And then Friday afternoon, still, we go down into the southeast. This is just a different model, and we can see the GFS as well has maybe areas like Macon, Georgia, Columbia, South Carolina, Montgomery, Alabama, trying to hit 100. Maybe even in the Arkansas, Louisiana, some areas could hit 100 as well. Now the last thing I want to talk about in today's video is the tropics. You can see this is the 5-day tropical weather outlook from the National Hurricane Center. And really nothing to see here. Tropics are calm right now, so hopefully it will stay that way. We are getting into August, which August is really the start of. Normally in August, we start to see hurricane season get more active. July is kind of where we get closer to the peak. The peak is around September 10th. And August is normally a pretty active month for the tropics. So we'll have to see about that this year. Because so far we've had an active season this year. But right now, not much going on in the tropics, or in the Atlantic at least. The East Pacific, we do have 2 disturbances, both with a moderate chance of formation. In the Central Pacific, we have nothing, so that's good. as well. So I'll update y'all again on Friday. Now next week my upload schedule is gonna change a little bit. I'm gonna start to do I'm gonna do probably Tuesdays and Thursdays. Or I might keep it with I'm gonna try and do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And also sorry I have not been posting recently. Uh but now I'm start school Wednesday next week, pretty much a week from today, or a week from today. That's when I'm gonna get back to normal uploads. Uh, so yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I will be back on Friday. But yes, goodbye.